This wise child knew a shortcut. What a good kid. You get first prize. Later you can have some handmade mackerel curry.
Maybe it was really happy about the dubious prize. The massive goat showed its joy by putting its hands together and breathing.
Virgilia leapt down, laughing that this time it was finally checkmate. Damn, it's no use. Our magic has been completely killed. Not yet. Even without magic, we still have these bodies.
Don't be ridiculous. There's no way you could fight a monster like that without that strange power.
Stay back, children. I'll do something about this so escape past the sights of that monster while I distract them.
I won't let you.
When Virgilia clapped her hand, the purple magic circle wall appeared behind her, stealing even the faint hope that Klaus had been betting on.
Is there nothing more to be done? No, not yet. Even Jessica fought. I must do so as well.
Are you serious? It's not possible, not against that massive monster.
Don't be absurd. Klaus, let us think of another way.
If you think of something, say it. Until then, it looks like I'll have to manage something. Come on, get back.
Take care. My, Klaus. You intend to fight this child alone?
You never know. In a fight, it's always possible to get in a lucky shot.
You think you can win even with a fluke? Allow me to explain so that even one who's so blissfully unaware of his place can understand.
What?
If you were to wield 100% of your strength, your power level is at most 6. In comparison, this child has a power level of 1000.
Are we doing Dragon Ball reference now?
In short, even if there were hundreds of you, you definitely couldn't win.
Why is there a 1 at the right? You see that? There's a 1.
Well, it's true that there are uncertain elements in the fight. Let us admit that your power level has a slight scaling factor to it. But even so, your chances of defeating this child are at perhaps 0.00001%. Do you understand? You don't even have a 1 in 10,000 chance of victory.
It's a 3 now. Why is it a 3? Virgilia and the goat guffawed together.
But damn it. I've got a 1 in 10,000 chance. That means the payoff will be 10,000 times greater, right? A splendid dark horse. Seeing a ticket like that makes me want to buy it right away.
But the coin to buy it is your life, and you have only one of those, yes? However, I can understand why you'd still want to entrust that miracle to fate. Therefore, I shall praise your courage for standing against us without fear and give you a bit of a handicap.
Now it's a 4. It's a 5.
This child will fight with only his left arm. Well, even so, I have absolutely no intention of losing to you.
A 6.
Come to think of it, what's that bing bong noise I keep hearing?
Seriously, I hear it too, and it's a number.
Very well, I'll take that challenge. Whether it uses its left arm or not, I'm sure it'll be killed with a single strike. I also only have a single chance at a strike. I can only bet everything on that.
It's absurd, Klaus, son. I know you used to do boxing, but wasn't that as far back as your college days? You know, even if you were a pro boxer, there's no way you could defeat a monster like that with one strike.
That would be true if it were a match in the ring. But when Klaus Nielsen's chance to bet on his hope is faint, it does exist. He's betting everything on that hope.
You aren't saying. But there's no way that would work out.
Klaus Summer.
Watch me. I'll settle this with a single strike.
Oh, Shello. I know what you're after. The distance between the two of them is more than 10 meters. If the goat and Klaus both step in with all their strength to settle the fight with a single blow, their power will be double what's normal. Both will crash together, so it's a relative 4 times normal. Even if, on top of that, the strike lands on a weak point for a critical hit, that would only double the power again. In short, Klaus's maximum power level of 6 times 8 would be 48 at the most. He might or might not be able to win if he repeated that lucky shot at full 20 times. If you're killed every time you take a hit, and your damage still accumulates. Let's see, perhaps you might finally win when we get to episode 24, yes? If only the series could stretch on so long. Either way, you don't even have a slight chance at victory. Hey, seriously, what is that bing bong sound?
Let me bet everything on a single strike. You have no reason to hold back either, Goat could. Come at me seriously.
He's requesting that you go all out. Smash him with a single serious strike and turn him into chunks of meat.
As the goat got excited and beat its chest over and over, it took a position as though preparing for a sprint.
Is this what you wanted? Bet your hopes on the greatest limits of your power level and despair when even that gets you nowhere.
It rang again. What the heck? It's really starting to get on my nerves.
Here I go. Ready?
The goat howled in response. Then, with a matched timing that only the men confronting each other could comprehend, the two leapt forward like bullets shot out of the gun. The men howled, collecting the strength from all over their bodies into one arm each. The goat's fiery glowing eyes clearly locked into Klaus's face. He could perfectly see a vision of when he would step forwards, when he would punch through Klaus and blow him away, and when he would win perfectly. The long painful days after that point drifted through the goat's mind. Those painful days of training when his senpais had picked on him. Those faint glimpses of the warm concern his senpais felt for him. And the joy of that day his power had been acknowledged when he had been accepted as one of the comrades. I never showed proper respect to my parents. That's right, didn't I plan to wash my hands of this business when this job was over and return to my hometown? I'm sorry, little goat sister, your Nichan always caused you so much trouble. And I actually have a childhood friend, and I'm gonna marry her when I get home.
No, stop tripping all those loser flags.
You can't handle the punch, dodge it. It happened the instant before the two crashed and their punches crossed.
You fool, Virgilia. Looks like you failed to make a calm and rational decision. You mustn't take that punch. Knock it aside.
The very instant the goats left straight, and Klaus's right straight crossed, the goat obeyed Virgilia's order with super fast reflexes and pulled her straight back, repelling Klaus's punch. No, that's right, Virgilia's decision probably had been wise. After all, the number of loser flags amplifies the power level of one's opponent.
That was close. If you had taken that punch after tripping so many loser flags, imagine just how great a force it would have been amplified to. Come on, from there, smash the completely open right side of his face with the right straight. What? That promise about fighting with only your left arm? Aren't promises made to be broken? Yeah, tripped another one. I'm disappointed, Virgilia. You really have lost your composure. What's that? How was I not composed by noticing it beforehand and making him avoid it? Why is that, Kiryu-sama? If they had crashed like that, wouldn't it be Klaus's?
I see. Even with 20 loser flags, that's not enough. Klaus's and the goat's double rush made 4 times 4. With a miracle as an ally, the firm promise of a critical hit doubled it again 4 times 8. On top of that, there was an amplification of times 20 equal to the number of loser flags, making 4 times 160. At a glance, that was an incredible amplification, but even so, Klaus's power level was 6. Even multiplied by 160, it only made for a power level of 960, just barely below the goat's 1000. That's why I said you weren't composed. It's your blunder. If they had crashed like that, you would have won. Even if that were so, it all comes to the same thing if this right straight smashes Klaus's head. Die, Ushidomiya Klaus. This is so anime, indeed. I wonder why the hell it is like this all of a sudden, because again, it contradicts former things, like them being all so powerful and now all of a sudden they're not anymore. Although this has happened before, now that I think about it. In episode 3, when Kiria and Rudolph fought against the demon stakes, who had been super powerful, they suddenly used like some absurd reasoning and math with numbers and feelings and whatever in a weird kind of way, at least Kiria did, to suddenly become much stronger than the demon stake. And I don't know, it's a bit similar to that, so I wonder what is actually going on in reality.
Take this, the strongest strike on the boxing world.
After repelling Klaus's right straight, the goat's right straight attacked the right side of Klaus's face, which had been left open, but there it crossed Klaus's left straight. I still maintain Battler's stance that this is actually not happening the way it is described. But what does it mean then? The two punches crossed, and time stopped as each aimed for the face of the other.
To think that it would be time for a simultaneous strike. But his power level stops at times 160, making it 960. It doesn't reach up to my child's 1000.
No, Virgilia-san, it's your loss.
Why?
You made him repel the first cross-counter. Certainly, if another right straight after that were to hit Klaus-san, would probably be in pieces. However, that was crossed. That's no good. Sorry, but this is a complete loss for you and this goat.
A cross counter is 4 times the destructive power of a normal punch. This is common knowledge in the boxing world, is it? And if it's blocked and the right straight hits, then it's a double cross counter with 8 times the destructive power. This is also common knowledge in the boxing world. And if that is crossed, then by the principle of leverage, the triple cross will multiply the destructive power by 12. This is also painfully common knowledge in the boxing world. Anyone a boxer here who can confirm that? It's even written in a Minmei Sobo book. Clausen's power level is 6. The rushing from both sides is times 4. The critical hit is times 8.
And times 160 for tripping too many loser flags.
And times 12 again for the triple cross counter.
Times 1,920.
His power level is 11,520. Klaus's punch now had the power to easily win the first Tenkaichi Budokai, which is straight out mentioned in Dragon Ball now.
This was always brought about by Klaus-san's persistence in not giving up on victory until the end and your pride. Without either, this strength would not exist. You fought well. You may now fall.
Nanjo clapped the goat on the shoulder. See, something else I'm witnessing again. It's how they slowly, completely accept all the madness around them. That's the same that happened in episode 3, isn't it? When Kiryu and Rudolph fought the demon stakes, they didn't really have the... I mean, you could argue that they have seen so much crazy shit up until now that they just started to go with it, but still, I wonder if it means something. That, just like in episode 3, when they started fighting the demon stakes, they suddenly became... I don't know. Became to think in the same way. Like, even Nanjo is talking about power levels now. That is totally not like him. So what does all that mean? Nanjo clapped the goat on the shoulder.
I need to give it a toy.
As the sparkling drops from the goat's eyes scattered, he bent backwards and fell on Vigilia.
Heavy, get off me.
The goat's massive body was too heavy for the slender Vigilia. She wriggled around with it on top of her, but it didn't look like she'd be able to escape. In that instant, the barrier Vigilia had sealed broke.
Don't take it personally. It was the principle of leverage that led to your defeat.
I wonder how the principle of leverage applied to that counter. It's an eternal mystery.
Let's escape while we can. You take care too, goat son.
And why the hell is Nanjo so concerned for the goats? He was earlier as well. What is going on, man? How is all this... I don't...
Well, then excuse the Vigilia-sama.
Bow.
Wait up, get this off me. Gap.
After that, there was nothing to block their way. Kinzo's gonna be happy. They ran intently through the underground passage. Jessica had finally been cornered with a wall at her back. Ronov advanced with his magic circle wall bit by bit and would probably crush her against the other wall eventually. Considering the distance she threw out her fists, this would be her final strike. Jessica had dealt out many punches so far. The wall wasn't invincible. It had already started to crack, and it wouldn't be strange for it to smash at any moment. However, due to the rebounding damage, Jessica also had cuts all over her body and was all worn out.
Please put a stop to this. I don't intend to cross you. It is up to the master to decide how to deal with you. However, I also intend to congratulate you specially for your good fight.
Quit fucking around. Not yet. It isn't over yet.
You have wounds all over your body. It's all you can manage just to stand, is it not? It seems you plan on putting all your strength into this final strike. However, that final strike will be fatal for you.
The damage reflected by Renov's magic circle wall was proportional to the strength of the attack. Jessica's all-out punch would be bounced back onto her. The more all-out she went, the more suicidal it would be for Jessica.
I get it. I know that.
I am warning you. Stop this now. This is for your own good.
Stop bluffing. Your wall is already about to break, right? I can tell by the feel of it after punching it so much, okay?
That was a fact. Ronov's wall was already on the verge of breaking. And on top of that, Jessica's fists had been imbued with an unimaginable magical attack power by now, and their destructive strength defied the imagination. In the worst case, their destructive power might even pierce the defensive wall, smash Ronov as well, and create an expansion connecting this room to the next. However, that damage would rebound on Jessica as well. She wouldn't escape unharmed. Yeah, I guess getting punched with the force of something that could destroy the wall would probably not be good.
I will say just one more time, stop. I say this out of consideration for you.
Shut the fuck up. Prepare yourself.
Jessica howled. Putting all the strength of her greatest and final destructive power into her fist, she roared. Let me guess, we're gonna cut to George now? Of course. You see the text in chat, but the video is still loading for you. The video is fine for me again. I have it open in the background. Maybe reload the page? I had to do that. Yeah, okay. The three goats had been beaten down long ago. Without straining to breathe in the slightest, George cautiously closed the distance between him and Gob. He was after her. He was planning on bringing her down with a single strike. Gob was also aiming for a single strike. If she let the chance slide, she would be killed this time.
Aren't you going to use your pitfalls?
Even the tiny opening during the time it took to open the hole would prove fatal to George as an opponent right now. Gob cautiously calculated the distance and timing, but even as she did, George closed the gap between them.
If you won't come, I will.
That's what Santa said as well. Oh no, let's not go there again.
Go ahead.
There's no point in cheap tricks anymore.
I'll settle it with this kick of mine.
For an instant, she thought George's body blurred, and then only his jacket was floating in the air. The moment she thought, darkness covered Gob, did he throw his jacket onto her? George, with his heels swung up high, was attacking from the sky like a massive dragon.
It worked. This is my victory. You're shooting at George.
What? Gob opened a vast pitfall with her in the center, swallowing up George along with herself. The two were swallowed up by the pitfall and spat out from the ceiling of the arbor. But that was what Gob had been after, so she alone landed lightly. However, there was another pitfall in George's landing spot. Uh-oh.
Gotcha, you shooting me at George. It was fun, so die. You cheated me a family hatchet would be wasted on the likes of you, so I'll finish you right here, right now.
George once again fell from the ceiling of the arbor. He had probably been dropped the same distance as falling off the roof of a two-story building. In the sky, he couldn't control his posture in any way. It was impossible to resist or defend or avoid. As Gob spun like a whirlwind, she concentrated all of her energy on the sharp tip of her stiletto wheel. This was the final strike to perform his requiem. The final strike of the queen bee that would bore into heaven, knocking him down into the true abyss.
Welcome to the abyss. This is the end of the line for you.
She closed in on her prey and stuck her foot up into the sky. At that time, she saw George's face. Even though he was in midair, he was calmly adjusting his glasses with the middle finger of his right hand. And his posture was still preserved as that of an axe kick. Without the faintest deviation, he aimed for Gob's forehead.
I had already hypothesized this move would come up.
What?
If I jumped to make the person on the ground taste my heel, my posture would have collapsed long ago. However, my posture hasn't collapsed in the slightest. Do you know why?
You don't mean...
From the very beginning, I aimed to make a person 2 stories below taste my heel. It's your loss, miss.
Uh-oh.
Take this.
The final strongest punch that Jessica had raised reached the wall and was sucked in. It was sucked into a black large hole that had suddenly opened on the wall.
Well, I did tell you to stop.
Did she just let them collide with each other? So basically, Jessica just punched George with the power that could destroy a wall, while George hit her on the head, like he jumped from a 2-story building with his foot.
This is...
Actually, I was even close to being in a pinch.
It's gonna hurt in the morning? I think it's gonna hurt a bit more than that.
Sorry.
Yeah, I didn't really expect this to end well. Jessica's fist had gone for George's stomach, and George's axe kick had lined up on Jessica's head. The shocking destructive power imbued in Jessica's fist crushed George's organs and scattered his abdomen. The same destructive power in George's axe kick smashed half of Jessica's head and scattered its contents in the same manner.
Didn't I tell you about a witch's acting prowess?
Did you? Don't think you did.
Hey, Beato, what do you think while you're watching? Not bad, just as planned. You really do get it, Gob.
Woohoo! Beato and Gab casually high-fived each other.
Wow. Thanks, Renaud. Thanks for the gift. I'll return Jessica's corpse. Separate the corpses of the two who are closed. Does this mean the second twilight is over?
I mean, you could interpret it that way, yeah.
Cobb dropped Jessica's corpse through a pitfall. All the chunks were thrown into Jessica's room.
All the chunks. I mean, yeah, imagine somebody jumped onto your head from a two-story building. It's not gonna look pretty, is it?
As carelessly as throwing something into the trash. Jessica's corpse and...
I don't even know why I find this so hilarious, but maybe it's the music.
And lumps of flesh fell from the ceiling and poured out all over her room.
Renaud shook his head slightly at this gruesome change of scenery.
Oh, this again. My apologies, Jessica-sama. I did warn you. However, the true art of his demons, that is foreseeing this conclusion and giving you advice I knew you wouldn't listen to, really isn't something a human could understand.
It really was fun, kid, but you play with words a bit too much. Maybe it's about time I started finding back really the best you've got. Are you trying to be someone from a light novel or something?
It's nice how they even are self-aware of the over-the-top anime-ness that would just happened. In the arbor, brutally decorated by George's and Jessica's scattered blood and guts, Gob enjoyed a loud laugh for a while. But she quickly realized that, in all seriousness, this was a little too filthy and undignified, and she snapped her fingers. As she did, a cloud of gold butterflies rose up around her, stuck to each of the bits and bloodstains, and dropped them. Then George's corpse returned bit by bit, and the brutal corpse with its guts torn out was repaired into a clean corpse that looked like it was sleeping. Was this some act of sportsmanship towards a dead rival? The heavens were split, because Gob had lifted her leg high, pointing at the sky.
See you, lover boy. This is game over for real.
Splat. Without a trace of mercy, that foot stepped down and was buried into George's forehead. The stiletto heel that was sharp as a weapon pierced George's forehead. With a bloop, it was pulled out. It was like a mark, proving that Gob certainly had finished him by her own hand. Renaud also returned Jessica's corpse to its original form, and unlike how it had been with George, he restored Jessica's life. What?
What in the world is this? A dream?
No, that is wrong. You certainly did pass away, Jessica-sama. You should be well aware of the memory of your final moments. It was actually pretty hilarious to watch.
Jessica's mind was burning. For some reason, she remembered being thrown somewhere and having George's heel smash her head.
Am I alive?
No, you are dead. With my magic that will only be postponed for a scant 3 minutes. After 3 minutes, the magic will end, and you will return to being a tragic corpse with half its head crushed. Which did look ridiculous, did I say that already?
What do you say?
Death is brutal. In most cases, you aren't even given the time to ready your heart, but to praise you for fighting so bravely, I have decided to give you this time. Perhaps you should sort out your regrets from this world in those 3 minutes.
I can also decide to take you along with me during those 3 minutes. But the power that had burned through Jessica's body until a second ago had been completely lost. Jessica was aware of that herself. She was already dead. And that is all for me. If you would excuse me, gotta get rid of all that blood on my beautiful clothing. It was fun, Jessica-sama. Renov turned his form into a cloud of gold butterflies and disappeared. All that remained was the sound of the wind and rain, and the figure of Jessica as she crouched down, leaning against the wall. Jessica could tell. She probably really would revert to the corpse she had been after 3 minutes. Was there anything she could do in those 3 minutes? Leave a message. She stood up and with a shaky gait took the phone that was on the desk. Is she gonna call Battler? Hello? Is that Jessica? Jessica? What is it? Are you okay? They got me. Are you okay? Did you get injured? I'll come to save you right now. No, it's already too late. I'm already dead. I saw you here. By the time you got here, Battler, it would be a corpse with half its head split open. Grab that damn geezer. Wait there, I'm coming right now. Listen to me, Battler. Listen closely, okay? Now I totally see why Goda-san and Kumasawa-san were evasive about the time the 6 in the dining hall got killed. Those guys aren't human. What? What are you talking about? I saw it, so what am I supposed to do? Those guys warp and set up barriers and do whatever they want, okay? It's like some kind of manga and anime. Hell, and we seriously can't keep up. From the very beginning, fighting was useless. There really aren't opponents that you'll be able to fight with that headstand spear you're so proud of. A line of blood dripped down from Jessica's forehead. George Neeson is done for too. That was an instant death. The next test is yours, Battler. I wonder if your test will go the same way as ours. Be careful and don't misunderstand. You mean about the test? No, don't misunderstand and assume that your enemy is human. The enemy isn't human. They're demons that can freely wield a terrifying magic. No matter what, don't get the wrong idea about that. Yeah, but that's what they want you to believe. Be careful. A line of blood dripped down from Jessica's mouth as well. The left half of her head started hurting. Jessica realized that she was about to return to the corpse she had been. When 13 people die, the Golden Witch will revive. 6 were killed, including Mom. That's the first twilight. Then George Neeson and I were killed for the second twilight. So once 5 more people are killed, the ceremony will be complete and the witch will revive. I hope Dad and the rest are safe. If they aren't, the one to test you might be the resurrected Beatrice herself. Battler already didn't understand what Jessica was saying, but from her tone he realized that she knew she was about to die. So even though he didn't understand the situation, he urged her to give it her all. I said I'm already dead. See ya. It looks like it's time. Good luck on your test. I hope you can become the head. 'Cause mine is gone. Jessica? Jessica? Hey, answer me. Jessica! Battler's sorrowful voice could be heard from the dangling receiver. Also, you want to check something real quick. None of them have been marked as dead yet. Which, okay, it was said that they will get marked once the characters find them. But that also means that so far, the meta battler has only to rely on what he has been told to watch. Like, it has not been confirmed by the people in this episode, has it? Wonder if that means anything or not. Battler's sorrowful voice could be heard from the dangling receiver. As she leaned against the wall in that corner, crouched down, Jessica's head had been half smashed. This place is...
Is this a well? Where is this?
Kyria stuck her face out of the well, and then Klaus showed himself too. When he realized that they could see the back of the mansion from beyond a grove of trees, Klaus knew more or less what they were. To think that here in a certain well there had been a hidden underground passage, which led to a hidden mansion.
This really is tough on this old buddy. I usually came up from a different spot with real stairs.
So you have been there. I mean, yeah, he already hinted at that before, but it just really hit me right now.
If you just unlock it.
I will ask you to tell me about the layout of this place in detail later, Dr. Nanjo. Shannon, are you okay? Grab hold.
I'm fine. Kanon, come quickly.
Kanon climbed up a ladder out of the shaft that was disguised as a well. Well, if they're at the mansion again, I guess they're gonna find the bodies real soon. It was probably quite deep. When he looked down for the first time, he realized how far he had come up. Oh.
Hee, firing!
Well, that came out of fucking nowhere. Holy shit. That caught me off guard.
As Kanon was about to finally crawl out of the well, a hole the size of a basketball opened up in his chest.
Everyone there looked through the hole in Kanon's chest to the scenery beyond.
Good Kanon, good.
Kanon slumped backwards and was swallowed up to the depth of the well.
Everyone run! The Cheester sisters! They've locked on, we can't avoid them! Run!
What good is run going to do you then?
Let at least one of us remain alive!
Or not? At that time, Klaus and Kyria and Nanjo certainly saw a golden curved line appear from the well, and so itself through the side of Shannon's head.
Shannon!
Her head had been pierced. The three had witnessed it perfectly until it had shot out the opposite side, blowing it away. Shannon fell to her knees, blood gushing from both sides of her head, and flopped to the ground.
Why? They're after us! Run! We'll be killed!
Run!
As Nanjo doubled over in shock, stunned by how Shannon had died, the Cheester sisters did not allow him to escape. Good lord. A curved line again appeared from the well and pierced from Nanjo's forehead to the back of his head in an instant, sewing through him. And so Nanjo passed away.
Why? Where's the enemy coming from?
We're being sniped. I don't know where from, but they've honed in on us perfectly. Let's escape into the mansion and block their field of vision.
The two dashed towards the back door of the mansion. Then, right as Klaus was about to shut the door behind him, a golden curved line appeared for the fourth time, piercing Klaus from the back of his head to his forehead and smashing that forehead. Klaus's body leaned over, fell down, and drew a neat radial pattern with the insides of his head. Kyria ran wildly through the hallway, flew into some room, and locked the door. But even so, she wasn't even remotely convinced that this had saved her life. She will probably die soon. This was apparently one of the guest rooms. At that moment, Kyria's eyes fell on a phone on a side table. Oh. Which phone would that be? Is it a phone that works? After hanging up the call from Jessica, Better? Who proofread this? Battler had been about to dash out. In that instant, the phone rang again. Hello, Battler. Today is the time for you to get calls from people that die right after they talk to you. I hope you enjoy. Hello? Huh? Kyria-san?
Yes, Battler-kun. Got lucky. I managed to escape the dungeon somehow. I really did have luck on my side.
Where are you? Is everyone okay? About that,
Over here, it looks like Jessica and George Oniki are... Listen, I probably won't be alive for long.
At that time, right after she thought the keyhole of the locked door might have glowed gold, a gold curved line drawing a helix, no, a golden sewing thread, penetrated it from there at an incredible speed and bored a hole into the floor by Kyria's feet. Oh, that's unusual. The enemy who sniped the other four one after another with extraordinary skill apparently really does have trouble shooting me between the eyes with a single shot while I'm holed up in this room. But the next strike will probably hit. At this point, Kyria finally remembered the first massive killing in the dining hall. That's right. This is what killed Rudolph and the rest, all 6 of them. Listen, Battler-kun, I'm going to tell you everything exactly as I saw it. I'm sure you'll think there's something wrong with my head. Yes, it's okay for you to think... For you to think that. Even I still haven't sorted out what it was I saw. Today,
After you all returned to the guest house, the family conference began in the dining hall, and I'll tell you everything that happened next. Listen till the end without butting in. The call might be suddenly cut off partway through. If it does, at that time, I'll be dead.
Kirya-san. Then Kirya spoke about Kinzo appearing and the family conference starting, about the 6 being killed and the 5 of them being confined, about how she had escaped somehow and ran away to where she was now, and how everyone had finally been killed. It was all spoken dispassionately, with no dramatization, just as she had seen it. She even spoke about how everyone except her had been killed, and how she had observed the moments of all their death, and how even now someone was trying to kill her. Actually, even while we've been talking, I've been attacked 3 times. Something like a strange gold thread keeps flying in through the keyhole, spinning around and aiming for me. First it was by my feet. Next it was close to my shoulders. This is interesting because wasn't it mentioned in earlier episodes that the Cheester sisters never, like the golden arrow never misses, like, or it never stops until it hits its target? But this differs from that. Just now it grazed my ear. Its aim is getting more and more accurate. Looks like it'll go right between my eyes pretty soon. Run, Kirya-san. Run away. Where to? I've run this far, shut myself into a room, and even locked the door, right? Now that I'm still being pursued, just where should I hide? Hey, Kirya-san. Hey, Butler-kun. Are Jessica-chan and George-kun still alive? Not long ago, I got a phone call from Jessica. It kinda sounded like they were done for. Thought so. Yeah, when we were being killed one after another, I had a kind of premonition. I thought that perhaps the second twilight had been finished in the ceremony of killing 13 people before our twilights had been reached. In short, when I die, that's 13 people. On the first day, man, Kinzo doesn't fuck around.
This way, the ceremony is complete. The Golden Witch Beatrice will resurrect. I wonder what in the world will happen. On this island filled with demons and witches and swarming with goat monsters, I wonder just what will happen. When even the leader of them all, the Golden Witch, appears. By now, I don't have a clue what's going on anymore.
Kirya-san's voice had completely given up on her own life, because Bettler understood that. He couldn't stop the tears.
There's just one thing I can advise you on. What? If a demon or a witch does appear in front of you, yeah, there's no need whatsoever to doubt whether it's real or not. Understand that it is what it seems to be.
Why? So, all of them are still not marked as dead, and it seems like they're all trying to convince Battler to believe in demons now. I'm kind of fishy, if you ask me. But maybe I'm becoming paranoid.
You might think there must be some trick, or that there's some true nature hidden behind it. If you have the time to think of something like that, it'll be much more constructive to plan out how not to damage the mood of whatever you're facing. Even mistakenly, you must not say, in that case try showing me magic, because to prove that, they'll probably use an even crueler way than before to show you. I can't believe it. Even if I hear something like that coming from your mouth, I can't believe it. I understand why you can't believe. So that's why I can give you this advice. Believe. You're telling me to believe in Beatrice and demons and witches and monsters? Even after being shown things not of this world so clearly. I think we still weren't able to believe any of it. I'm still like that now. The true form of this thing that keeps attacking me, trying to shoot through my forehead, is something I don't understand, and I can't believe it. So, I want you alone to believe, to understand, to accept the existence of what we couldn't accept. If you do that for me, our death won't be wasted. It'll also have been worth it for me to make this phone call. Kirya-san? I'm still okay. It scratched me, but it missed again. It looks like I probably won't get another chance. Thank you, and goodbye, Butler-kun. I treated you coldly sometimes because you were Asumu-san's son. Forgive me for those days.
What do you mean forgive you? Right now you are a mother to me, Kirya-san. Okay, that scared me. I felt as though I had heard an incredible sound at the other end of the receiver, then a noisy clacking sound, as though the receiver had fallen to the floor. Kirya-san? Kirya-san! Kirya-san did not answer through the phone again. What the hell is gonna happen now? I mean, I know I keep saying that in every episode, but man.
I don't know why you're mad, Battler.
You don't? Are you an idiot?
Everyone was killed by the damn geezer who was saying something crazy about Beatrice's resurrection ceremony or whatever. So by now, 13 people have offered their sacrifices, and it's already time for Beatrice to revive, right?
Sure, that sounds great. I'll find Beatrice too and kill them both.
We've survived the ceremony, so we'll receive an invitation to the Golden Land from Beatrice. Over there, all wishes will be granted. If having a family killed is painful, then you just have to resurrect them. That's what I plan to do. I'll revive the really nice real Mama, the one that isn't possessed by the Black Witch. So Mama will always be with me. There won't be any more overtime or working on days off. She'll always be with me and think only of me. She'll always fight against fearsome enemies for my sake.
I haven't done the Korekiyo from Danganronpa V3 voice for her in a while. When she's laughing. There's something wrong with you. Why are you saying something so incomprehensible in a situation like this?
Didn't Kiryu just tell you, Battler? Didn't she tell you to believe in the witch?
Fuck. This is no time to get in an argument with you over something like this. Now there are no hostages or anything. Anyone left alive. This weird shitty ceremony game is already over. Let me do what I want now. Someone might still be alive. Or someone might be hiding. I'll search everywhere, find them, and beat the shit out of them. In a rage, Battler grabbed his hat stand spear and flew out of the room. Maria watched him go, looking bored.
Even though Battler will grant our wishes soon anyway. Stupid Battler.
Battler.
Even though Beatrice will grant our wishes soon anyway. Stupid Battler.
Started with the same letter, okay. Oh. At that time, the phone rang out again. Maria stood up and grabbed the receiver.
Hello.
Of course, the sound of the phone also reached Battler's ears as he was about to dash out of the house. With a violent forcefulness, he returned around and dashed into the cousin room. But Maria, who was the phone call from? With a terrifying look on his face, Battler yelled at Maria, who was on the phone. You couldn't blame him. Right now, the only humans left alive on the island were himself, Maria, Goda, and Kumasawa. But there was no way those two could call after being locked up in the gardening storehouse. Which meant there was only one person left. It had to be Kinzo. After continuing her pleasant chat with the person on the other end of the phone for a while, Maria slowly turned to face Battler. Is it Beatrice? Then with an unsettling expression on her face, she laughed. It felt almost as though the person on the other end of the line was chatting about Battler. Maria, who's on the phone? Grandfather? Battler couldn't imagine that this was the case. After all, it was inconceivable that Maria would talk intimately with Kinzo, and that she would be chatting about Battler with that eerie smile on her face. So just what kind of person could be on the phone who could make Maria chat with a smile like that? At that time, in the back of his mind, the words Kyria had spoken to him drifted up. If a witch does appear, there's no need to doubt it. Just believe that it exists.
Yeah, Battler just came back. He sure is jumpy.
Maria, who's on the phone? Who?
It over? Sure. Here, Battler.
After getting the consent of the person on the other end, she held the receiver out to Battler.
Yeah.
Maria held the receiver out for him to take as though it was perfectly normal. Battler hesitated just a little bit before taking the receiver. After all, by accepting the existence of the person at the other end, he would have no choice but to acknowledge them. As Kyria said, there's no longer any need to doubt that they exist. Battler took the receiver. As he did, Maria briskly left the room. Battler, who was a bit scared to find out for sure who was at the other end of the receiver, questioned Maria before taking the call. Hey, where are you going?
To where my test is. I wonder who the next Yoshidomiya family head will be, Battler or me.
Just don't go. You'll be killed.
I won't be killed. The ceremony is already over. And even if I'm killed, I'll be revived. Whether one of us becomes the head or not, we've already been invited to the Golden Land. See you.
Wait, Maria. Battler stretched his hand out to Maria's back as she left. but the cord of the receiver that he was gripping stopped him just like a chain. He readied himself. Battler put the receiver to his ear. Hello? Congratulations! And I'm fine! And you? Screwed up, mocking English filled his ears. The hell is with the song? It's pretty cool. It was the voice of a woman he didn't know. Who was it? The inside of his head was starting to freeze up. Who was it? What do you mean, who is it? Was she doing me a battler? Normally you would answer, yes, I'm fine, right? It takes me back. You do that one in middle school, right? That thing you do in pairs. You're insane. Who are you? Answer me. Say it in English. Isn't that your specialty? Just don't fuck with me. Who are you? An underling of that damn geezer? Underling is a mean way to say it, is it not? At least say prisoner. And Kinzo is my prisoner, right? That last laugh didn't sound like it was aimed at Battler. It was almost as though Kinzo was right next to the phone, cackling as well. Say your name. Who are you? Who? Guess right, and you could win a free trip to Hawaii. Finally. It was so long. The days leading up to today were really long. I seriously waited 1,000 years for today, get it? I owe it to you. My big resurrection. Thank you, Kinzo. Just for you, I'll lend an ear to that last. I'll take that move back of yours.
My, aren't you getting a tad too excited? Couldn't you act a bit more ladylike? Holy shit, she's back.
Kinzo and Beatrice sat facing each other over the chessboard on the reception table. There was expensive cheese and snacks to go with the drinks, and there were several empty wine bottles lined up. As Beatrice rolled around on the sofa in an unseemly way, she happily held a wine glass in one hand and was probably completely drunk. I'm in the best mood today, so here's a huge bonus for you. Hey, Kinzo, don't use Chateau Petrus as a decoration. It's from 1947, right? If you don't open it today, just when do you plan on opening it? Let's drown ourselves in it and play. Then let's whack each other with the empty bottles.
How amusing.
I kinda like drunk Beatrice. She's pretty weird.
You're too excited, and you're letting loose too much.
And what about you, Kinzo? Aren't you happy to be reunited with me? Oh, it's the living world, the earthly world. Long live my flesh.
What are you going on about? Are you saying that you're Beatrice or something?
Yes, I am. Thanks to Kinzo's 13-person murder ceremony, I've finally been resurrected. Yes, I am.
So she's using katakana English.
It's nice having a mouth. It's nice having a tongue. How fun it is to be able to talk to you like this.
Come to think of it, even though we slapped each other with abuse so many times over and over again,
this is the first time we've had a conversation like this on the board during the game, isn't it? How very fresh. Did you hear that pop sound just now? He opened it. He seriously opened that Chateau Petrol. Do you know how much a single bottle costs? Almost as much as a whole 10-kilogram ingot, you see?
It's just so bizarre. Like 13 people were brutally murdered over the course of just one evening, and Kinzo is just opening a fancy wine bottle, having a huge party with Beatrice right now.
Cut the crap. Beatrice? The Golden Witch, you say? Give it a rest. Where are you? Is that damn visa with you too? I'll beat the shit out of both of you. Where are you now? Answer me. Oh, so you want to meet me? It's tough being such a popular woman. But please don't try to chat me up when Kinzo's around, okay? This guy gets seriously jealous.
Huh. Yeah, you don't say. He gets seriously possessive as well.
So he has a bad temper, you see. But when Kinzo isn't around and we're all alone, I'll love you all you want in secret, okay?
You're insane.
Kinzo, I've changed my mind. I won't do Maria's test. You go.
How fickle. So are you saying you'll do Balor's test?
Nothing wrong with that, right?
That guy is so much like a younger you that it makes my heart race.
Don't worry, I won't cheat on you. This'll be the only time I'll be alone with him.
I'm always alone with you in bed, right?
But no more tying me to the bed with a collar, okay?
That's something I didn't want to imagine Kenzo doing.
Exactly.
Well then, Battler, I, the Golden Witch Beatrice, will be conducting your test myself. As for the place, yes, let's make it the front entrance to this mansion. Battler, make sure you try seriously hard in this test to become the successor, okay? I mean, Kenzo's practically dead on his feet. If you become a successor, you'll be the new owner of everything on this island. If it's you, I wouldn't mind becoming all yours, see? Rule over me just like Kenzo did, okay?
The front entrance of the mansion. Perfect. You drunk bastard. I'll sober you up. I'll fix that hangover with burning punch. Prepare yourself. Bella impulsively slammed the receiver down. There was no need to talk through it anymore. I'll meet her face to face and settle this. Or are you? I took the spear I had made from the hat stand and went outside without even an umbrella. It's hard to imagine that the young woman calling herself Beatrice is waiting for me alone. I should probably assume that, as Goda-san and the rest said, she'll be waiting with supporting troops. Going alone would be too reckless. Goda-san, Kumazawa-san, it's me, Battler. I headed for the gardening storehouse first. I need all the help I can get. Goda-san is big, so I can probably count on him for some firepower. Kumazawa's knowledge and familiarity with the terrain as a senior servant might become a huge weapon. Both of them have master keys, and they know more about the mansion than I do. They'll be pretty reliable allies. As I banged on the shutter and called out for them to open it, I remembered that there was nothing they could do from the inside. I would have to get the key back from them before opening the door. I rounded the corner, knocked on the small lattice window there, and opened it. Goda-san, Kumazawa-bachan, it's Battler. Hey, come on, get up. Don't tell me they're gone. The scene in the shed, lit by a dim light bulb, was very strange.
Goda-san, Kumazawa-san.
From a low ceiling beam hung two thick ropes, and at the ends, Goda-san and Kumazawa-san were hanging by their necks. What? It was dim and cramped because of the various pieces of equipment strewn about, so I couldn't make out the situation clearly, but when they showed not even a tremor after I called out to them, and because of the way the loops around their necks seemed to carry the full weight of their bodies, I could sense no trace of life from them. You've got to be kidding me, right? Why? The shutter was still closed, and there was only a single key which had supposedly been given to Goda-san. So how had the culprit opened the shutter and killed both of them inside? No, wait, they weren't necessarily killed. If this is a suicide, that way this closed room makes sense, but I don't know why they would hang themselves and commit suicide. Feebly, I slumped down on the spot. Now the only humans alive on this island are me, Maria, and the damn geezer. No, there's also that insane woman calling herself Beatrice. There's Maria, who had acted like the witch's ally from the beginning, and the geezer, the ringleader who revived the witch, and the witch herself. What the hell? By now I might as well be the only one on this island. Using my pole as a cane, I feebly rose. Damn, I can't do it like this. I've got to avenge everyone. Damn it, it's useless this way. Oh, it's useless, it's all useless, damn it. Might as well cry while I can, so that my frail emotions will be squeezed out with my tears. Then I straightened up and gazed into the darkness, in the direction of the mansion. At the entrance to the mansion, the witch is waiting. I'll go and settle this. I'll find the source of this weird, insane night and crush her with my own hands. Amidst the pouring rain, I walked through the rose garden without an umbrella, letting myself get soaked. I could see the arbor on the other side. According to Jessica, it seemed that George Aniki had also been killed. Well, by this point, there's no need to worry about the lives of any hostages. I left the path, aiming for the arbor. Then, I saw George Aniki's weather-beaten corpse. Finally, we're getting one. His corpse was found in the rose garden arbor. There was a single hole right in the center of his forehead. It's probably reasonable to assume he was shot with a gun or something similar. It's a brand of humiliation, marking his defeat to Garb. Aniki, damn. The corpse was in front of the arbor. If he had died under the arbor, he might have at least been spared being beaten down upon by the rain. In Aniki's forehead was a gaping hole, as though he'd been shot with a gun. Yeah, I think somebody mentioned in the chat that it only gets updated when, I think, when Battler finds the corpse. So that's... But that... What I don't get is why those two have not been updated in that case. The rest I can understand, because he has only found George so far and seen his corpse himself. But he saw these two, and he said they were dead, and still they have not been updated. That is weird. In Aniki's forehead was a gaping hole, as though he'd been shot with a gun. Perhaps because the rain had washed everything away, his face wasn't covered with blood, so he looked almost like he was sleeping. However, his cloth was stained a deep red, and there were still signs that a large amount of blood had flowed out. How happy I'd be if he were sleeping, or else pretending to be dead. But even though the rain sprayed against Aniki's eyes, they remained open, and the hole in his forehead was no joke, but absolutely real. There had been a faint chance that even Goda-san and Kumasawa-san, hanging by their necks in the gardening shed, had been them playing a bad joke, but that naive possibility had now been completely denied. Or had it? And as I looked at this corpse, I became completely sure, just as Goda-san had once said. The enemy had come to take lives like pieces on a chessboard. There's no mistake. It seemed that old Gizu witch really don't view our lives as anything more than that. That damn witch said something over the phone. Something about us being on the game board. Perfect. I see. She thinks this is a game. And if you killed everyone like it was a game, it's okay if I kill you all like it's a game, right? If I kill you all like it's a game, right? Prepare yourself, Beatrice. Okay, I think this is a nice spot for stopping. And a nice cliffhanger. Because it's 11 o'clock. And I almost want to keep going, but yeah. It's late. And I also still have to try and cut some of the stuff that happened earlier. So yeah, good place for stopping today, and we have something to look forward to again. I'm really curious where this is going now. Which is something I keep saying every time, but it's true. So, time to stop the recording.